Zelos are known for two different styles of watches. The first watch that they were originally known for were, of course, their affordable dive watches. You're getting great lume, great materials, great dials for a very good price. Then they started making watches that were somewhat of a halo watch. So they came out with the Mirage, they came out with the Tourbillon, an 8-day movement using Le Joux movements, things like that. Today, we have a watch that sort of sits in between the two. This is a Spearfish, so it's in a Spearfish case. It's in titanium with a hard coating. However, it's getting a Sellita SW300 with a very special module on top. Also, you get to see the movement from the front and the back. So let's flip the camera and take a look at what is basically a halo watch well under $2,000 from Zelos, the new Spearfish Dual Time. I would describe Zelos as an in-the-know brand. I think there aren't very many people outside of watch collectors who know who Zelos are. But if you are a watch collector, you definitely know them for affordable, well-made watches. But they also make halo watches. So they also make higher-end watches within their lineup as sort of a way of expressing their love for watchmaking. They make some really amazing watches like Tourbillons, which they've made in the past. They also work with Le Joux on a lot of different movements. They used an 8-day movement in the Mirage recently. So they make higher-end watches as sort of a way of making hyper watches that are attainable for the fans of Zelos. This is a Spearfish. They're calling this the Dual Time TI because this is in titanium. You're getting an extra hard coating, which makes this pretty much scratch resistant. So you're getting that on the case and on the bracelet. You're getting inside here a Swiss movement. It is a Sellita SW300 with a module on top. That is the TT651. I'm not sure who actually makes the module. However, it does give you a grand date there at the 12 o'clock. Right below the Zelos logo, which almost disappears on the dial. It almost looks like there is no branding on this dial. It is a skeletonized dial, so you're getting a sapphire dial. This is the blue version, so this gets a blue tint to that sapphire. And of course, there is tons of lume on here. That grand date is lumed. You have a little window there that surrounds, that's basically indicating where the grand date is. And then at the bottom of the dial, that is the GMT portion. However, there is more than meets the eye here. It is a day-night indicator, so there is a little bit of lume on there, and there's a little bar that shows you which is the day and which is the night. There is a map, and then there is an hour and a minutes hand. And that means this is a GMT, so that's what the dual time is in the name. When you unscrew the crown, you're getting 100 meters of water resistance on this watch. So even though they're making a little bit of a higher end watch, they're still giving you really good water resistance. So this is actually a capable watch that you could wear on a daily basis, especially since it's in lightweight titanium with an extra hard coating. And you also do get micro adjust. I'll show you that in just a few minutes. But when you pop out the crown, you put it into the first position. In one direction, you can change the date, and in the other direction, you could change the GMT. So that's the GMT, and you can see that is the local hour hand skipping on the GMT. And then when you spin it in the other direction, it is the grand date that changes. And it just clicks over. Really smooth action, and it feels great. Pull it all the way out, and then you can adjust the time. And you can see that map actually rotates, and that is the day-night indicator. So you have a 24-hour indicator, which, a lot of people don't really care for, but adding the map on here makes it a little bit different and actually makes a 24-hour scale, a sub-dial a little bit more interesting than just a hand or a day-night indicator. I think this is pretty damn cool. You have a little bit of color on the dial. That is that blue. You have a chapter ring that's in a dark color. I think it's a black. And then you have applied indices. Those are liberally applied with lume. That map is liberally applied with lume. Those sub-dial hands, those have lume on them. And then of course the hands, always special hands from Zelos. Those are filled with lume as well. There is a little yellow arrow on the second hand, which you can see very clearly that it is moving. And of course that is lumed. This gets a boxed sapphire crystal, as you can see, really nicely boxed, and then you get to see the movement from the back, and it is a Sleet SW300. So essentially what that means is this is their higher end movement. It's their thinner movement. It's finished really nice. Again, you have a custom rotor on here. There's a map, there's a compass star. It's finished with perlage, and again, you get that perlage on the front of the dial as well that you can see through that sapphire crystal dial. Really very, very nice. Screwed in crown is nice and big. I'll do measurements in just a second. You have screwed links in the bracelet. It is a flat link bracelet that is really nicely finished. And then you have on the fly micro adjust on the buckle. The buckle is really easy to use. They have this spring loaded now, so all you have to do is hold the buckle. You don't have to press any buttons, just pull out and push in, and that's it. And then when you want to pull it out, you just do the same action in the reverse. That's it. Very easy to use. No buttons, no little tabs to fiddle around with. I think this is a far superior system than a lot of brands are using, including higher end brands. This is very simple. That spring load is obviously very convenient. You can do it on the fly, and you don't actually have to take the watch off to do it anymore. You can do it with the watch on your wrist, just unbuckle it and then adjust. Very, very simple. The case on this watch measures in at 39.8 millimeters, so just about 40 millimeters. It has these crown guards, so I would say it wears like a 40 millimeter watch. It wears slightly larger than 39.8 millimeters, but I wouldn't say it wears like a 41 millimeter watch. I would say it wears like a 40 millimeter watch. It's 12.2 millimeters thick, including that boxed sapphire crystal. Not including that sapphire crystal, it's around 10 millimeters thick. So you're getting all these complications, that grand date, the GMT, skeletonization, 100 meters of water resistance, a display case back, and you're still getting a 10 millimeter thickness, around 12 millimeters, including that boxed raised sapphire crystal. I think that's very good. The lug to lug on here is 46.6 millimeters. That's either on the bracelet or on a strap. It doesn't matter. You have female end links on this bracelet, so that's how it wears at 46 millimeters. And then you have about a 6.2 millimeter crown. Very nice and grippy, very easy to use. Very lightweight. This feels like a very well-made watch in your hands. Flipping it on its side, you can see there's finished edges along the entire case. There's no sharp edges anywhere. You have a screwed in case back, and again, you can see that movement from the back. Really a very good looking movement and a very good looking watch for the price. So speaking of price, you're getting a lot in this watch. You're getting a lot of details and a lot of complications. This comes in at $1,849. I think that's actually a very, very good price considering where this sits in their lineup. And if you compare this watch to other watches from other brands that offer this much, there are no brands that offer this much at this price. So obviously they're coming out with something that's a high-end watch at a very good price. So if you are a Zelos fan, or you just want something that is very special with a grand date and a GMT function with that map on the dial, $1,849 gets you into this watch. They also make this in a forged carbon fiber. I think it's the exact same price. A little bit more colorful. You have a black case, and that's on a strap. This comes on a bracelet. I would get the one on the bracelet because the bracelet is fantastic on here, and then you can throw it on a strap. In fact, I have a baby blue strap that matches this dial almost perfectly, and I'll throw it on that strap so you guys could see what it looks like, because it looks phenomenal. On my wrist today, I have another Zelos. This is sort of in that range as well. It's a little bit less expensive. This was around $999, I think, but this got a meteorite dial titanium case, and it is a faceted case that is skeletonized. You get a Le Jouperet movement in here. So the movement in this watch is not as special as the movement in the Spearfish that we're looking at today, but it is a very nice movement, and they put a really cool custom rotor on it. This is their pilot's watch. It's called the Eagle. It looks fantastic. I really love the rotor that they put on here. I'll do a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. Just a really good looking movement from Le Jouperet. So this is in that range. I would say it's a little bit less high-end when compared to the Spearfish. And there's the Spearfish on my 7.5 inch wrist. Phenomenal. This looks and feels phenomenal on my 7.5 inch wrist. I don't have it fitted. However, I have worn this watch already on that strap because I think it looks phenomenal on that strap as well. However, on the bracelet, it looks really good and it fits very comfortably. It's a very light bracelet, a very light case, 40 millimeters, 46.6 millimeters on the lug to lug, and it's around 12 millimeters thick. That's including that big boxed domed sapphire crystal. Other than that, it wears pretty thin to the wrist as well. I love the bracelet on here. Definitely a very good looking watch. And what's really cool about this watch is the lume. It's very liberally applied to the hands, the indices. There's bicolored lume on the indices, and then you have that entire map that is lumed. There's a little arrow on the map that you could see when it's moving, and then there's a bar area that represents the night side, and then you have the day side. And then you have the hands on that GMT. Those are lumed as well. Very easy to read the GMT time in the dark. It's very easy to read the time in the dark. And it's also easy to read the date because all of the date is lumed. That little section right in the middle tells you where the date is or what the date is. So it's very easy to read. You also have a running seconds on here, and that is lumed as well, which I love to see. Tell me down in the comments below of another brand that offers you this much watch for a price of under $2,000. I'd like to hear it down in the comments below if you can. Think of one, please add a comment down below. If not, tell me what you think of this watch down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of Zelos? I think this is pretty awesome. I will put a link to this watch down in the description below. This comes out on April 8th. That is a solar eclipse here in New York. So I will be checking that out, hopefully not going blind, but this will be released on that day, so definitely stay tuned. These are limited. I don't know what the number is that they are limited to. However, I'm pretty sure they will sell out because these are pretty cool. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.